like to use for tarpon on the ocean side, in the Keys, especially this time of the year. I'm starting out with the hook. The hook I'm using is a Gamakatsu SL12S. It's short, wide gap, heavy, really good tarpon hook. So I'm gonna start with that in my, clamp it in my Dynaking rotary vise. I'm gonna use kind of a copper brownish colored thread, and I'm gonna start by tying a base on the hook of thread from just behind the eye all the way to the bend. And then I'm going to move back up to about the point of the hook. Now for the tail body of this fly, I'm using a hairline 1/8 inch zonker strip. It's this deep red color. It is the grizzly, or barred, I guess they call it. And this piece is about 1.5 inches long. And I'm going to tie this in to the hook, leather up on the top of the hook shank, and just like that. Okay, so it's a little bit forward of the bend. And if you've fished these types of flies before, you know that they're fairly, they can foul sometimes. So what I do to add some rigidity to this fly is I poke a hole in through the leather with my bodkin, basically not quite halfway down the fly, or the length of that bunny, and just create a hole right in the middle there. And then what I do is I take a piece of, this is 40-pound fluorocarbon, and it doesn't have to be floral, but that's what I had. But this 40 is about the right stiffness, and I poke that through the leather, and then I'm going to tie that in on top of that leather on the top of the hook shank. And this creates some rigidity for that tail, but still has it lay out nice, and it will help you from fouling this fly when you're casting at that big tarpon. Okay, so pretty simple so far. At this point, I'll put a drop of glue on this. Lock that down. And now I'm gonna go to the head of the fly. And for the head of the fly, I'm using an EP brush product, and this is the 1-inch tarantula, and it's kind of a cream colored, and it's got a little bit of yellow flashabou built into this. And this one, I also tie it with just straight tan, but I like a little bit of yellow in this. So I'm gonna tie this in, and then I'm gonna cut that wire down. Then I'm gonna move my thread forward, and I'm gonna palmer this in to create the head of the fly. So palmering and just moving it towards the eye, And then while I do that, I just kind of pull those fibers back. And I tie that off a couple times. I'm gonna cut that off. Now I've got, you can see it's pretty bushy right now, but I'm going to trim that all up. And now I'm going to tie in the head, close the eye off. And I'm going to turn this upside down, and I'm going to take another piece of that 40 fluoro, and I'm going to tie in a weed guard. I like weed guards, put them on pretty much all my saltwater stuff, just to, there's a lot of weeds out there, and this fly, you know, you're fishing on the ocean side in the Keys, and if there's been an east wind for a while, there's a lot of stuff usually floating in. So when I pull this back after I've got a few wraps on it, and I make sure I'm clear of the eye, and then what I do is I pull it forward, and then I just tie a few wraps behind it. It once again helps secure that weed guard, and also helps it be a little bit more upright. Okay, and then we're pretty much done with the construction. I'm gonna whip finish this. And now I'll add a little glue, lead cement. And now all we have to do is trim it up. You can see there's a lot of material there, way more than we need or want on this fly, but when it's done, the nice thing about this EP brush is that it's a nice thick head material. Be careful I don't cut my weed guard off. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this weed guard back so it's about 1/4 of an inch past the hook point. Cut that off. And there you have it. So that little piece of mono sticks out underneath that. We'll keep that rabbit from fouling. And there you've got a pretty quick, simple, and effective Atlantic palala worm imitation. Now you can, I keep this a little long, and then you might have to trim it in the boat if you think that tail is looking too long, but you can always cut it shorter. You can't make it longer. All right, everybody, hope you liked it, and tight lines.